As the 1930s began, the United States wanted a new class of battleships, but would still be constrained by the London Naval Treaty, limiting battleship designs to a standard displacement of 35,600 tons and a main battery of up to 14-inch caliber. These restrictions would force the designers to compromise in some areas. 3 designs were put forth, only one being in line with the treaty. Design A had a similar gun layout as the Nelsons. This design ship would feature armor against 14-inch shells, a 30-knot speed, and a displacement of around 32,000 tons. It would feature 9 14-inch guns and 3 triple turrets. The other 2 designs were around 5,000 tons over the limit and both had 4 turrets with a higher speed. Design B had 12 14-inch guns and 4 triple turrets, and Design C featured 8 16-inch guns and 4 twin turrets. These larger guns of course violating the treaty. 5 more designs were featured, 2 of them only having a speed of 23 knots, these being the G and H designs. D and E were attempts as fast battleships with 16-inch guns with the protection against guns from the same caliber. Design F was an attempt at a hybrid battleship carrier with 3 catapults and 8 14-inch guns. This type was favored by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, but because the catapult-launched aircraft were inferior to the carrier-based aircraft, this type of ship would not be completed. The displacement limit was a real issue for balancing firepower, speed, and protection. Basically, you have 2 but not all 3. A third wave of designs followed. The K would feature 15-inch belt and 5.25 inches of deck protection, and would feature 14-inch guns and quad turrets, 3 of them per ship. At least 35 subvariants of this type followed, and a final design would be prepared for construction. Final armament would be 9 16-inch guns and 3 triple turrets, 25-inch 38 caliber dual-purpose guns and twin mounts, 5 on the left and 5 on the right. 4 quadruple 1.1-inch guns and 12 50 caliber machine guns would finish the anti-aircraft part of the ship's defense. As time went on, 40mm Bofors and 20mm Oerlikons appeared on both ships. 60 Bofors and up to 75 Oerlikons would be added during the war. 2 ships were completed, names being North Carolina and Washington. North Carolina would be built by the New York Naval Shipyard. She was laid down in October 1937 and launched in June 1940. She was commissioned in April 1941. Washington was built by the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Washington was laid down in June 1938 and was launched on June 1, 1940. The battleship was commissioned in May 1941. Standard displacement was at 36,600 tons, but modifications during the war added more weight. Overall length was at 222.11 meters, or 728 feet and around 8.6 inches. Beam was at just over 33 meters, or 108 feet 3.9 inches, and draft was at 10.8 meters, or 35 feet 6 inches. 8 Babcock and Wilcox boilers generated 121,000 shaft horsepower. 4 sets of General Electric geared turbines connected to 4 screws gave the fast battleships the speed of 28 knots. Armor thickness was as followed. Belt at 12 inches, barbettes at 16 inches, turret face at 16 inches as well, conning tower at 12 inches, and decks from 0.62 inch up to 5 inches. 2 catapults were placed at the rear, which could launch Vought OS-2U Kingfishers and Curtiss SC-1 Seahawks. Various radars would also be added to the 2 ships. North Carolina spent most of her time as a carrier escort and would cover the invasion of Guadalcanal. She took part in the Battle of the Eastern Solomons, getting attacked by D-3A dive bombers, but shot them all down and escaped undamaged. A torpedo from the submarine I-19 hit the ship, causing significant damage. The torpedo was part of the same salvo which sank the carrier Wasp and damaged the destroyer O'Brien. The destroyer later sank. The battleship returned to Pearl Harbor for repairs, and she would be used as carrier escort again, followed by short bombardment of Tarawa, Leyte, Okinawa, Iwo Jima, Truk, and Saipan. At Okinawa, a friendly fire incident occurred and she was hit by a 5-inch shell, killing 3 men. After Operation Magic Carpet, the battleship was decommissioned in 1947 and held in reserve until 1960. She can be visited in Wilmington as she was turned into a museum ship. Washington was sent to join the Atlantic Fleet. Its Admiral John W. Wilcox fell into the ocean and died. Some say it was due to the rough seas and some speculate it was a heart attack. She would conduct convoy escorts until mid-1942, when she would sail to the Pacific to support the invasion of Guadalcanal. As night fell, the battleship saw the Go to start to receive Japanese 14-inch shells from Kirishima. Washington opened fire at point-blank range, hitting Kirishima multiple times. She would then conduct escorts and shore bombardment missions, followed by damage from ramming the battleship Indiana in thick fog. Washington bombarded Okinawa and returned for a refit, which completed after the war. She was decommissioned in 1947 and was out of service in 1960, her hull being scrapped.